Another chemistry video for BTEC Applied Science AAQ, and this is about molecular shape. So, lots of different molecules, and some of them have lots of interesting shapes. Look at these diagrams. Why do different molecules have different shapes? Well, what you need to do, and hopefully by the end of this video, you're going to explain why. And you're going to know the names of these shapes because these are the ones you need to know. And also you're going to make an effort to learn the angles involved in these shapes as well. So let's get cracking on with it. Electron pair repulsion theory. That's what it's called. What's that then? Well, electron pairs in the valence shell of the central atom repel each other. Okay, and they arrange themselves as far apart as possible. And lone pairs, we know what lone pairs are by now, don't we? Have a stronger repulsive force. So basically, it's the pairs of electrons in the outside shell of the atom in the middle are repelling each other, and they're trying to get as far away from each other as possible. And if they're not in a bond, so they are a lone pair, then they have more of an effect. So bearing that in mind, if we look at this, now this is the first shape and this is just linear, in a straight line. And this is carbon dioxide, which we know very well, don't we? And carbon dioxide, you've got a carbon and two oxygens, and there are two pairs of electrons in each of these covalent bonds, and they're getting as far away from each other as possible, which means you end up with it in a straight line. Yes, because one's pushed that way, the other's pushed that way. It's in a straight line. And so the bond angle is 180 degrees. So that's the first shape, which is linear in a straight line. And carbon dioxide is a good example of that. The next one, non-linear, and this is another molecule that we know very, very well, H2O. So this is a water molecule. Now, the oxygen atom has got two lone pairs, hasn't it? Because two of its electrons are involved in these covalent bonds. So it's got two lone pairs. And what those lone pairs do is they push the hydrogen atoms away. And you end up with an angle of 104.5 degrees. That's for the HOH bond, the hydrogen-oxygen-hydrogen bond. That angle there is 104.5 degrees. In the next video, we're going to see why that's important, because it creates a polar molecule, it creates a dipole. Anyway, so this is non-linear, and it's non-linear because the two lone pairs are pushing the other two pairs away, which is the ones joined to the hydrogen atoms. Trigonal planar. That sounds a bit posh. Basically, it means flat triangle. Yes, if you imagine an equilateral triangle, a flat triangle, looking from above. This is boron trifluoride, BF3. And you've got your boron in the middle, and you've got three fluorines, and they're pushed as far apart as possible. So you've got 120 degrees is your bond angle. Yes, trigonal planar, otherwise known as flat triangle. If you look at the diagram on the top left diagram, notice how they usually draw like if there's one coming towards you and then there's one going away from you with the dashed lines. That's quite a useful way of drawing it. Tetrahedral, we know tetrahedrons by now, don't we? Very important in organic chemistry, which is chemistry of carbon and hydrogen and oxygen and stuff, the chemistry to do with living things. And that's a tetrahedral. Methane, CH4. So a carbon in the middle, and then these four hydrogens are basically trying to get as far away from each other as possible. Yeah, because the electrons, the pairs of electrons in the bonds, are trying to get away from each other as much as possible. And we end up with a bond angle of 109.5. So that is tetrahedral. As I said, very important in organic chemistry. Trigonal pyramidal, or pyramidal, trigonal pyramidal. Again, triangular pyramid. So you've got a triangle base, and then the one in the middle is a bit higher up, so you end up with a pyramid with a triangle base. And that's an example is ammonia, NH3, so a nitrogen and three hydrogens. And basically what's happening is that the lone pair in the nitrogen atom is pushing the hydrogen atoms away. It's almost like it's acting like another bond, and it's pushing the electrons in the bonds with the hydrogens away. And each HNH bond, so hydrogen, nitrogen, hydrogen bond, is about 107 degrees. So triangular pyramid, or trigonal pyramidal, if you like. Sounds like a disease. Octahedral. I'm not sure why they call it octahedral. I mean, there's an atom in the middle, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other atoms around it, attached to it. You'll notice in the middle you've got a square. Yeah, the four atoms in the middle form a square. Then there's one above and there's one below. Yes. Sulfur hexafluoride, apparently. All angles are 90 degrees. All the bond angles are 90 degrees because it's like square, and then above and below, 90 degrees all over the place. Octahedral. The next one I've done is square pyramidal, if you like. Remember we did the triangular, trigonal pyramidal. So this isn't a triangular base, this is a square base, but then you've got one above as well, because you've got a lone pair, in this case on the chlorine. This is chlorine pentafluoride, so a chlorine and 5 fluorines joined together, and the lone pair on the chlorine is pushing all the hydrogens in one direction, isn't it? So the lone pair in the central atom pushes the other 5 atoms away, and you end up with a square base. So that's a pyramid with a square base, square pyramidal. It's almost like the lone pair is acting like the bottom atom in the octahedral one, which is why I put these on the same slide, obviously. Trigonal bipyramidal. So what have we got here? We've got a triangle in the middle, not a square, but a triangle, and then one above and one below. For example, phosphorus pentafluoride, apparently PF5. So you've got a phosphorus in the middle of this triangle, this equilateral triangle, and then one above and then one below. So you could describe this as, now the octahedral molecule could be described as square bipyramidal. This is trigonal bipyramidal. The angles, the FPF bond angles, are either 90 degrees or 120 degrees. And maybe if you understand my diagram, you can figure out which is which. Which of the angles are 120 and which of the angles are 90. Hopefully it'll be obvious. And that's that. Those are the ones we need to know. Not too bad. Name each of these molecular shapes. Do you remember what they're called? Yeah. Say what the bond angles are in each one. There's only a couple of them where it's like an awkward number. Name and describe the theory which is used to explain these shapes. Can you remember what the theory is called? If you've been taking notes, which you should have been, you'll know the answers to these.